Master Grade Gundam Age-2 Dark Hound. Hey, what's up again, everybody? Robert184, 2Rs, 2Bs, GundamReviews.net, and Asuno became Captain Ash, in addition to becoming a super pilot and a super pirate at the same time. And you've already seen the unbox and the place for this Master Grade Dark Hound, so now let's take a look at the parts before it's all put together into a very cool looking MS. The empty black and gray plates there, along with the colorful ones, would yield pretty much what you expect in terms of the main body parts there, with the wings attached on to the chest and arm there, with the legs, the Dod's Lancer, and a whole bunch of parts there that can make up the rest of the limbs. With the now bagged up extras, including a lot of extra fingers there, the beam sabers, a small Captain Ash figure, and the lines, which are going to come into play with the shot anchors. Black Gundam marker, useful for getting some black ink into the skull itself, and the red Real Touch marker, useful just getting rid of the discoloration on the wine red parts. And you've always got to be careful when you're cutting off some of the fine parts, as I had a part for the head break, but thankfully Tamiya Cement is going to help fix that up. Bottom to top, you're going to see the three main colors here, with the shade of gray, the lighter one there for the inner frame, with a little darker for the outer part, what would normally be white on a regular Gundam, non-dark pirate themed. First of all, for the hips, you're going to be able to move this around, and this is going to go up and down. Nothing fancy is going to split up there, but for the bend, you'll see that the knee is going to pop out a little bit. You're going to get a 90 there and a 90 there, which is going to reveal some pretty ugly parts down there. But you are also able to move this, and if you put this back properly here, which is a little bit tricky because there's going to be a mechanism built into the bottom, which is good and bad, I suppose. When it's like this, you can actually take this whole thing and bend it out, which is going to provide the landing here. And back here, you're going to have this part here, which is going to open up. And when you do that, it's going to allow the whole leg to just rock forward here on some of the K parts there from the K plate. And this is going to come into play for the transformation. However, if you put it back in and you squeeze this down, it's not going to come out. But it does come across as being a little bit loose, and that knee is not going to fit in there all that well, or so it seems so far. For the ankle itself, this is going to move up and down with some actual inner frame, which is always appreciated. And you're going to have the ankle attached onto a ball joint there, and another one down below, but you're not going to be getting something like high-grade double O's mobility. But you are going to be able to move the toes down, ballerina style, and you can also move this gray part. The waist skirt, though, adds some wine red to the colors, which is definitely going to break up the color monotony of what you just saw on the majority of the lower body. You're going to have the nice red parts there, only on the front, none on the back in terms of the skirts, RX-78-2 style. But you are going to have independent moving skirts there with a black jewel up there on the top. And you're also able to move this whole front skirt forward, which when you do that, you can actually take these legs here, which is going to be used in the transformation, and spread them out. So you can actually get the legs into the right place, then you can lock that into place. Feels pretty secure when it's all on there. The side skirts are going to move up and down nicely there, and they do have a pretty tight joint up here, so you can bend this up here and not just move it in the skirt. And then down below, you're going to be able to bring these gray parts here forward and back. For the back here, you're also going to have the ability to not move this too much, but you can take this part here and open it all the way up to reveal a little bit of gray for the inner frame. A nice little red triangle-ish piece there is going to fit on the inside and be surrounded by black on both sides, which is going to look great. And the beam sabers here, they're going to be able to move up and down, and you can holster them, and they are looking pretty cool here in gray. Like with the legs, however, whenever you have a transforming Gundam, there's always going to be some cons in terms of just plain stability for the body in general, and specifically in the upper body's case here. But I just wanted to start things off. If you can take a look on the inside, first of all, I've got some stress fractures down there on that gray part on the inside, so you're going to want to be careful when you're attaching all of these chest parts on. There are a fair number of moving parts, and the reason why, it's sort of hard to see it, but you may be able to make out his little silver body in there. But Captain Ash is actually on a 4-part cockpit mechanism here to get it revealed, including an elevator. So you're going to pop these parts up, move this down, and then move up this black part here on the inside. And then you'll have to go in there probably with a modeler's knife and then just poke it down. And then everything's going to show off ever so slightly if you've got it at the right angle. Still, it's a very cool idea. And these wingtips can be handy too in getting them up and down there. Just close this up, seal off that black part, put down this gray part, and then slide it back inside where you think that you're going to have a nice solid chest. But unfortunately, it's going to be very wiggly here, as you can just see that all of these side parts here are going to move around freely. In terms of the visuals, you're going to have that nice wine red there for the top, around the light gray, which is going to look good, and down here around the dark gray. Some black lining there on the inside. The actual chest here, which is going to go around, you don't actually see the age system there with the clear green, very different from the normal there. This is going to have a pretty cool mechanism to it on the inside and the way you attach it on. but it's silver parts wrapped around black, so you don't have to add any ink to get that part on there. The shoulders, you're actually going to take the armor itself and attach that onto the arms, not on here, but you can pop these out. You can just, if you can make it out, there's a little tiny tab that's going to go there on the inside, and I don't want to use the lancer there, so let's use this, and you can pop this out, and that's just going to give the arms a fair bit of mobility up, down, forward, and back, hopefully. Onto the back, you're also going to have this little tab here, which is going to open up, and you're able to move the waist around a fair bit forward and back. You can also sort of lock it into place, although it's not going to play a big role in locking anything in, or so it seems. But cool little details that they're going to even include here. Gray on the inside, black on the outside. A nice solid gray piece. This fin is looking a lot more fun than the Age-1s or so, I'd say. It's just unfortunate here that everything's going to be moving, but that's going to be necessary for everything to come out, and then move the body up, drop the head down, and then close it back up. Here is the completed arm with the wings on there, and it's looking pretty spectacular and definitely worthy of the name Master Grade. First of all, you're going to have a light gray and then a black part on there, which is going to drop into the shoulders that you just saw. And you're also able to move this. You've got a sort of a two-step polycap there, moving this on here so that you can maneuver things all around. For the shoulders themselves, this part is going to rotate around. You're going to get a bend of a very nice 180 there. The elbow is sort of just going to come all the way forward. You're not going to get any actual protection back there. Down here, the cuffs, we're used to the Age kits being able to turn all the way around, so you can do that if he had a shield, or we can see about the Dod's Lancer attaching into there. You've got the hand, which is going to look just a little bit stranger, so it seems here, as it's really off to the side. But on the plus side, if we got that bat wing out of the way there, you are going to have it on the round parts, very similar to the Titus and things like that. Looks fantastic, lots of four-finger choices there, and you are going to have 2 digits, or 2 knuckles there for the thumb, if you want to put it this way. But coming up here to the wings, like I said, this is going to pop forward and back, but these are going to move independently on this large gray parts. So when you put this gray part together there, you're actually going to take these black parts, which are just made out of 2 pieces, and stick them on either side. All of the assembly is going to go onto this part here, and you can take the shot lancer and just detach that whole thing. But what you're going to have here, and I'm very impressed with this, is that you're going to have full mobility with these black parts here, a very impressive range of movement, but the bonus of the Master Grade is that you can actually open these up from the inside, because they're going to have 2 small parts on the end, or just 1 small part here, making it 2 parts in total. This is going to look nice and sharp, don't poke your eye out, but it's going to fit in there very well when it's in, and it's going to add for all sorts of dynamic poses when it's up like this. And just when you thought it was done, well, it's going to have even more tricks, because you're also going to have the beam Vulcans as you pop this whole thing down after popping it out, which are going to look so much better than the high-grade seals. So many gimmicks, very impressive here for the Dark Hound's arguably best feature. The Lancer is looking very cool as a weapon, especially if you wanted to compare it to something old school like the 1100, the Burga Gyroses. But in terms of the colors, you're just going to have the darker gray here to go along with the black, but good inner frame there throughout. All the black parts are not just sitting there hollow, with 3 silver parts down there that are, you're going to get some you're always going to get some discoloration when you cut that off. Unless you wanted to actually glue these together, sand them down, and then paint them, I think you can make this look a lot better. And you've also got the last few centimeters there just done up as a separate piece. In terms of playability, you're going to be able to slide this open, and you've also got this trigger part here, which is going to have a nice sort of the handle, and you can attach this down here, and then you also have this part here, which is going to be able to move around. It's going to detach if you do too much with it, so you're going to want to be careful with that. But with this, you can slide this whole thing in, nothing like the high grade where you have to take it out, flip it around, and then put it back in. And when you do that, you're able to put this up and slide this down, for all of a sudden we have the front nose cone of the airplane. With the other weapon being the anchor shots, which is actually made out of 5 or 6 pieces of plastic there, you're going to have these parts which are going to fold up if you want to keep them in the wings, and fold down if you want to put them in hands. You can see a little bit of details there, as it's actually got a little tiny piece, a little bit of black lining there and here in the actual hook itself. But if you want to take a look at this, you can detach this. This is on 2 pieces, and you can take the wire and attach it into here. You've got the custom action base connector here, which is going to work with an action base 1 to get the Strider form up in the air. And if you're an old school Warhammer fan, yes, this isn't made out of metal, but because it's silver, like the skulls on the chest and the head, it's going to look pretty familiar. Captain Ash looking cool in a black trench coat. But the best feature of this kit has got to be the head here, besides just all the other details and the cool coloring. And that's going to be helped by the fact that it's got such a unique shape with that flat top there, which comes across as looking great, whether it's an advanced grade or high grade. But I'd say they've got the proportions even better here for for the master grade itself. First of all, when you're putting this all together, this piece here in the front, when I took it off and cut it out, it actually just broke off very, very easily, so you're going to want to be careful. Just a little bit of Tamiya glue was able to put that all back together because the other parts are also going to help keep it in shape. And it's great the way they've got this black goatee that you're going to put on the gray face there. That's going to look fantastic, but if you're looking for other color details and apps, you're not really going to have any except you've got that clear yellow back there from the D plate, or you can choose for everything, blue or yellow, but if you're following the directions, you're going to put in yellow there for the scopes, and that also applies down here on the hyperdots. There's a small one top and bottom there. You've also got seals if that's not going to stand out enough for you. But more importantly here, you'll notice that you've got a green swivel part down there for the very cool laser tracking eye, similar to the V2 Gundam. And what you can do is you can actually detach this V-fin here, and you're able to just take this whole eye section here and bend it around and get it into the position that you want. But you're going to want to be careful because it's not on there all that well, although you'd think that these two black parts would hold it in. But you can have this up and put this V-fin back on, and you're going to have a very cool non-one-eyed pirate looking suit, and that's only going to look even better with the green part down. It was a lot of fun putting this kit together, and it didn't feel repetitive compared to the Age-2, even though the majority of the body is the same. It's still going to remain to be seen just how well some of these transforming parts, specifically the legs and the chest, because they do have those moving parts, whether they're going to interfere with the stability of the mobile suit. But it was cool to use all these colorful small plates, and the weapons themselves. I gotta say that the silver is going to look good on here, and on the chest and the head. Would have been nice perhaps if they had done these up too in a little bit of silver, but that's the kind of thing that a little bit of paint jobs can save you a lot of trouble. And the best part just has to be the fact that these wings are going to move in all sorts of directions with that master grade feature of actually having 4 wings there, instead of the high grade, which is just going to have 2 and keep them all locked in place. Combine that with the fact that you've got some fun playability with the head, and I can't wait to see it all put together. So stick around to see the mobile suit and then the transformation, and as always everybody, let me know what you think, and thanks for watching. See ya! In terms of height alone, this is definitely a master grade worthy Lancer.